this computer. Boom, we are live, we are recording. Hello, welcome, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Like Alex says, there's people from Canada. I think it's like morning at your place, is that right? Anyways, we're coming from everywhere around the world. Oliver's in Switzerland, I'm in northern Norway. It's already dark outside, you can see here. It's 6 p.m. here. But we decided to do a part 2 of making money doing what you love, because the first session turned out to be a good one. We just kept going and going, and it was a lot of fun. Oliver, his story, I was so inspired, and I heard from you guys that you were also so inspired by it. And just the energy, the you can feel it's just lifting after you hear these stories, and your belief level goes up too. It's so empowering. So the first part was very focused on the mindset part, the thinking part, the vibration, the ability to conceive what you want and convince yourself to believe in it. So it was very much about that. It's about focusing on what you want. Now, we didn't talk too much about the how. So on this session, we're going to go more into that. We have some questions that you posted in the chat from the first event. You sent us some personal messages. So there's questions we took from different places. I had an idea in the beginning. I mean, I wanted to do a quick meditation, nothing serious, but just something to get us in a good state, in a good feeling. So in the beginning, I could just ask you to close your eyes and just breathe in, breathe out. Make yourself really comfortable. Be conscious of your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling more comfortable and relaxed as you listen to my voice and as you pay attention to your breathing. Now, as you're listening to me, I want you to go in your mind to a place, to a time when you got a big payday, a day when you received either a big bonus or you got paid for some important work you did. And just feel that feeling in your body, how that feels. Maybe it's appreciation. Maybe you feel that you were recognized for what you did. Feel how that feeling feels in your body right now. Maybe someone was saying thank you to you. Just think about a time when you were appreciated, when you had that money come to your bank account in whatever way, shape, or form that was. Maybe it gives you a feeling of security, of stability. Maybe it's a feeling of freedom. The feeling of being able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. The freedom to take a vacation whenever you want. The feeling of being in control of your own destiny, because you're not bound to someone else. You are the captain of your own ship and the master of your own destiny. And you have this gift inside of you. You know it. It's this gift that when you bring it out to the world, to the right people, you can really benefit other people. You are the only person in the world with the exact same, with this exact pattern on your fingers as anyone else. There is no one who has the same story as you, the same experiences. There is no one who has experienced exactly the same life that you have. So you have an incredibly powerful gift that you can give to others. I want you to recognize that right now. I want you to anchor that into yourself. Feel that right now. And feel that feeling that you feel when you give that gift to someone else. That feeling you get when somebody else appreciates you for the work that you do for them, for the value you provide to them. Now just take a moment to sit in this feeling and enjoy it. Now feeling that feeling, I want you to bring your attention back into the room that you're sitting in right now. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes again and have that feeling be brought with you into this session. Maybe you need to stretch a little. Maybe you want to smile and stretch your face by smiling. And whenever you're ready, you can all open your eyes. All right. This is what it's about, everyone. This is what it's about. That feeling. I thought about it before this session that I wanted to put that in there because we're doing this for a reason. We're doing this because we have something so powerful that we can give to others. And I felt that so strongly after the first session. And I really love hearing Oliver talk about these stories that he has about making it. We all want to hear that success story, like a rags to riches story or whatever it is, just letting you shine your own light. It's so powerful. Okay, in the beginning, if you were on the first call, by the way, if you haven't seen the first session, there is a link to the recording on the event page, so you can check that out. But on the first one, we asked your why for being on. Now, I want you to reconnect with that right now. Maybe it's connected with that feeling you got during this meditation. So you can write in the chat, what is your why for being on today? Why did you show up today? If the answer you had from the first session is still relevant, you can write that. And just reconnect with that, get in touch with that right now. And feel free to write it in the chat, as it helps us to know how we can structure this session to add the most value to you. There's a quote I wanted to read. It's by Zig Ziglar. If you can have, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And this is profound. So today, I mean, while you're thinking about it, you can still keep writing in the chat. I see some of you writing. Just thinking about what you can do to help other people in the best possible way. What gift do you have to do that? And how can you help more people and in a better way? And then, of course, there's questions about how to monetize that. But of course, you need to make people aware of who you are, what you're doing, and then you can take it from there. And I also wrote this. I just wrote a few points in the beginning. Just what do other people want? Because in the quote, it's talking about giving people what they want. Short answer, to feel good. That's the short answer. People want to feel good. People want to live a good life. They want to be free from pain and be happy. If you can help people with that in whatever way, making their life easier, making people feel good, like what Oliver is doing is making people feel good with their paintings. They have something they can look at and feel good. Yes, just thinking about how you can leverage that talent and skill you have to help other people. That's the main thing here. I'm going to read a little bit what you wrote in the chat here. Just need to expand this one a little bit. Oh yeah. Hanging out with like-minded people to strengthen and anchor my belief systems about monetizing my passions. That's a good one, Cliff. Be of service. Learn how to receive monetary value for doing our passion. We will definitely talk about that. Yvonne, I saw you wrote about not having received monetary value from your work. So we will definitely share some good tips with you here, how you can monetize that value, because that's definitely what I think many people have a bit of a hard time with, especially in the lifebook community, or not just in the lifebook community. 1 in 4 say that they want to improve their financial category. So there sure is something there. I feel like I'm going in different directions, equally passionate about paths, yet struggle to know how much time to spend on both. Yes. First and foremost, to create value. And put good out in the world. Yes, putting a price tag on that is something I have already struggled with. Differentiating myself as well, since that can be a challenge in the entertainment industry. Yes. Yeah, putting a price tag on it, you really need to sell yourself first. That's I would just put that in there real quick. Inspiration, clarity, and motivation to move forward on my ideas and goals. I have volunteered and given to my community for free for years and years, but it had never turned around to be profitable to me in my business, as our community counts no volunteers. I have developed hundreds of costumes for theater and always on volunteers, so no payment. How do I turn that around? Yeah, exactly. There's for sure people in here who are great at what they do. And like John says, being great at what you do is not always equal getting paid well. So it's a different type of skill set. And Oliver has some really good tips to share here, especially. So that's great that you came on here. I've been in high-paying, successful IT tech career, received bonuses, but I'm more a creative type. So it has not been really fulfilling. So this idea of shifting to work more aligned with who I am, doing something I love, is inspiring. It challenges my beliefs that it's possible and how to actually make it happen. I mean, isn't this what everybody wants, right? We spend so much time in our work. So if we can actually do what we love in our work, it's perfect. Helping other people discover meaning of life and achieve growth and fulfillment in life. Now we're talking. Some really beautiful intentions here today. We want to assist you in the best way possible in moving you in the direction of making that happen. I wrote this thing in the beginning. I know Oliver had a bit of a comment on it, so I can say it, and then Oliver can say. I've been talking enough now. I'm gonna hand over the mic to Oliver. I was mostly doing the intro, but from now it's gonna be more like an interview style. I wrote what to cover. There's a few points here we wrote down, and then we will jump into the questions. On the first one, it was about putting a price on your services. People value more what they pay for than what they get for free. We can all think back to some time when we got something for free and we didn't value it as highly as we would something that we actually paid for. It's the same way when you put your product out there. So get it in front of the right people. Very important. We're going to talk a bit about marketing, sales, and reaching out to people. So your ideal client, pretty much finding the right niche. Position it so that it's exclusive, in demand, high value, and in limited supply. So this is, Oliver, you said like position it. It sounded a bit complicated, right? You had something to say about that.
Yeah, that's we have to go in these things a bit deeper, and this will be different for each business, what this specifically means. So for example, limited supply is very different in each business, what this specifically means. So yeah, in the end, we need to make it simple. We need to look at, what do we want to do? what is the service we are providing or the product we are selling. We need to kind of first make this decision. And then when we get there, you know, when we found something specific, these things suddenly make sense for our business. So yeah, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, exactly. You want to look at some kind of a pain point that people have, and then how you can find those people that they have money, that they actually have money, and then being able to bring it out to them and provide that service to them. We wrote something about, so there's one point here, finding your niche. What would you say about that, Oliver? How do you find your niche in this? Your ideal customer, or yeah.
Yeah, so first, yeah, I was thinking how to do this call because it's different to each business, right? So finding your niche is depending on what business you're in. I know a lot about, of course, art, but also about coaching. So if you want to do a service, and if you want to do a coaching service, consultation, or selling art or selling anything that's creative that you're passionate about, I know a lot about these things. So it's a bit difficult for me to get into finding a niche without, you know, knowing the specific business you're in. But generally, so let's talk generally, because that's also the topic about the call today. Generally, you want to focus on, John said that as well, I think. He said that you should figure out what you want, what you're good at, what's your talents, right? And what you're good at. And then at the same time, you need to look at what other people want. And if you can combine that, then you get a step further. But for me, for example, I needed to first figure out, so what do I want to do? What's my talent? What's my skill, right? And I've been actually thinking about coaching first, because it's also a skill somewhere. That's why you see me today here speaking. But I decided in the end for art. I decided that, you know, my biggest passion is actually painting. And so now I need to figure out, how do I market that? How do I put this in a way that people want to buy it, right? And I know as well here somebody, I think that's a good thing to answer. I also read some of the questions. I think it was about, you know, how to decide. Wait, and I have,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going in different directions, equally passionate about paths, yet struggle to know how much time to spend on both. And then, yeah, exactly, somebody else had the same, how to choose, or should a choice be made? Can it be blended or prioritized? So it's like, I think you need to make a decision on what's primarily your thing, right? So like I did, my primal thing, no, my, how do you say my first thing, you know, the thing that I'm focusing on is art. But at the same time, I realized I'm also very passionate about personal growth. So in the end, I took these things actually together, right? But I needed to focus on one thing and decide for one thing in order to come up with this idea of combining these things, because you need to kind of, you know, when you sell something, if you want to sell your passion or your service, it needs to be clear for the person what this person is getting. So if you're still confused, and if you're still like kind of offer two things, people get confused, they don't know what they're getting. So I could have made the choice actually to focus on coaching, that's my main thing, and add some creativity and art to that. So my main thing would be coaching, and that's what I would advertise, that's what I would tell people about. I would tell people I'm a coach, I'm doing this, and I have something very special, which is like I'm coaching people, but we also create an artwork together, which would be more coaching. But I said, no, I want to do more. Art is my focus. I'm an artist, and the coaching is still here because I love to share inspiring stories. It's just in me. So then it came out that when I make my paintings, they actually all have names from books, or, you know, from mentors or things that I learned. So my paintings are about personal growth, but my paintings are in the forefront. So that's what people see, and that's what I put out mainly. So I think that's important. And I would say, I understand if you cannot decide, because I was exactly the same. I was like a multi-talent. I did so many things and couldn't decide. I had many talents, was good at many, many things. And people even told me still today, not anymore so much, because I decided I'm an artist. But like 3 years ago, people still told me, you would be a great actor, or you would be a great dancer, or you would be a great cook, all these things, because I'm good at all of these things. And it felt good when they said that. But I also thought this is kind of limiting me. I had the breakthrough in a retreat, when it was a beautiful retreat. and we were sitting in a circle with, I think, like 15 people, and we just had an amazing exercise where everybody was, you know, totally wide, like open and in very high energy. And what we did then is, from the coach, an amazing idea was to somehow give the phone, record on the phone a voice message, and then everybody was saying something beautiful, something positive they saw about this person. So let's say when I was, you know, when it was my turn, I gave my phone, and every person was saying something about me, what they appreciate about me, what they see in me, you know, something positive. The funny thing is, you know, it was a beautiful exercise, but the funny thing was, I noticed something that I didn't like at all, but they meant it in a positive way, which was almost everyone said, I just see you so engaged, so energized, and you are everywhere. There's like, you are everywhere. That was like, you know, that was whoa, because people saw me in a good light, but they saw me at the same time like I'm everywhere. So I'm all over the place, right? So that made for me a switch in my mind, that I'm like, I have to change something, because I don't want to be known for the guy that's everywhere. I want to be known for something, right? And if you do many things, you never really get further. You never really get, because I mean, this is in the end when we build a business, or we do our, I mean, it depends on how far you want to go, but you know, guessing we want to reach a high level, because that would be great, right? If you reach a really, really high level. And then if you want to reach a high level with your passion, then you have to focus on one thing. At the same time, I wanted just to calm you down, you know, not to make too much pressure, because I know how it is in the beginning. I would just, if you have many things that you're doing, just be honest with yourself, ask yourself what you really, really want to do. Try to imagine yourself doing that. Try to imagine yourself also, you know, asking for money and also doing work, because like when art is a passion and you're just painting for yourself, and then you stop and you go to work in a different job, that's very different from doing art full time, right? So you have to imagine it a little bit and just trying to grasp. And what you do then is like, try it out. Like if you want to be a coach, for example, go out and get customers, start charging as much as you feel comfortable at the beginning. It's just to test, or do it for free in the beginning. I mean, if you have any passion, you don't really need to do it for free, but then you need to, for example, in art, I needed to go out and try selling it, right? I had to feel how is the whole process, not just painting, but the whole process from painting to talking to people, to selling, to making exhibitions, because only then I see and feel if I really want to do this full time or maybe just part time. Because doing it part time is also fine, you know. So that's an important decision when we start making money doing what we love. And I have, and with coaching, the same is, I actually tried coaching because I thought this would be the first thing, and somehow made sense to me. And I tried it and I didn't like it at all. I was like, I just didn't. I mean, I love giving free advice. I love talk about these things. But when I started coaching someone, so I was basically in a way responsible to their success, I didn't really like it. And then I also realized, okay, that's not for me, at least not for now. So that gave me more clarity that it's actually more art. So I hope that helps a lot with the, you know, the deciding part. But I would definitely, I had also still last year, so actually, so already full-time artist, right? So already doing my thing. But then an idea came. So actually somebody told me about the business idea. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's try that too. So I had suddenly art and this other business going on. I did both at the same time. But then I realized you cannot do two things at the same time, right? You have to make a decision on what you're working on right now. So I realized it's just taking a lot of time away from my art, and then again it kind of naturally fell away, this other business, because I just realized I'm not super passionate about it. And if I, you know, use my time for something, then I rather do also, you know, enjoy it. So for me, it just kind of fell naturally away and just gave me more confirmation that this is my thing, you know, I have to focus on all. But it is, if you want to make money with something, it's really difficult to make money with two things at the same time, because you can imagine you have like this 12 hours a day, let's say, and a certain amount of energy. And we all know how this feels, because we start in the morning and then in the evening we get tired. In the middle of the day we get a bit tired. And so if you have two things, you basically use half energy in each. you know, and that doesn't really, especially in the beginning, if you use 100% of your energy, because you probably have a full-time job as well. So imagine trying to build two different passions up. So you know what I mean? It's like you use half of your energy, not even half. I mean, like it always, when you think about, when you're really serious about making money doing what you love, it makes just so much more sense to focus on one thing. And you always need to also remember, you can anytime change your mind, right? But it's just really like, if you want to get something going, if you want to get some momentum, you have to focus on one thing. It's also like we talked last time in part one. It's also like how thoughts work. You think about something for a long time or for a longer period. These thoughts trigger other thoughts, and then you get more and more thoughts around this thing you're thinking about. So if it's a dream, something you want, it's kind of a ripple effect, and it creates a momentum. But if you always need to break it up because you need to suddenly, now you want to focus on this other thing you want to do, you don't really get in a momentum. And at the same time, you probably have a family, or at least you have another job. So you know what I mean? It's really hard to get into a momentum, and you need a bit of momentum to get going with a side business and making money doing what you love. So I think that's really important, because that's the first thing, right? If you don't get this right, then all the other things about the how, you know, how do we structure it? How do we do social media network marketing? How do we find our niche? All these things don't really matter unless we, you know, found our thing and decided what we want to do. So I hope that helps. Yeah, I see already. Super helpful, Oliver. Great. Super nice to hear that. Good. If you have questions about that, just write it in the comments.
It's like a big queue that we see it. I think I missed some of the questions last time. It was just the chat was blowing up. But yeah, it's totally like we were talking about last time, that if you chase two rabbits, both of them will get away. So you want to chase that one rabbit, you want to catch that rabbit, and now you can focus on the other one. I have a friend right now, he's transitioning from a job where he's actually making really well. He's making really good money in that job. It gives him a lot of security, but it isn't what he loves. It isn't really tied to his purpose. So there's several ways, like a dilemma, you could say. Maybe you have to give up something you really love in the job you have right now, or maybe it's about staying where you are, but just contributing more and being appreciated more for what you do. So there's many different situations and circumstances you can be in. Either way, you are at one point, and there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. And how do you fill that gap? That's always how I'm thinking. There's a skill gap. There's some skill I need to develop, whether it's marketing or sales or being better at what I do. So you need to discover that, and then find someone who's really good at that and learn from them. This is a good advice I would give, because I always want to find people who are doing really well at what I'm not so good at, that I need to improve on to get there. Also, it's this thing about a really good exercise you can do after this call is sit down and write down who is your ideal client. What you will find is that it ties very much into some kind of pain or problem you had in your life before that you solved, and now you're free from that. Now you found a solution. Now you're living free from that problem. The thing now is that you can help all those people who are still in the situation that you were in back then before you found a solution. You just have to give them solution, right? So you need to find those people. You need to communicate to them that I can help you with this. So you could phrase it like, let's say if it's coaching, you can say something like, what would you think about experiencing a powerful coaching conversation? And then you sit down with them, and then you give them an experience of what that's like. You give them that experience. Oliver, we wrote down a few more points here. Organic Facebook marketing. Would you like to say something about that?
Yeah, let me get into this. So
content marketing strategy, yeah, networking with people, building rapport, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to also say something else, because I really want to start from the beginning so that's clear. Also, when you transition, like let's say you want to make money doing what you love and you want to do that full time, the transitioning is also really important, right? How do you transition? Because I see a lot of people get really impatient, and I was the same. I was really impatient. I started hating my job. I didn't want to do it anymore. And it actually sucked energy out of me, not the job. maybe the job as well to a certain degree, but mainly my fight, the fight inside of me about, I want to quit, I want to do my thing. And I would say, if you want to make money doing what you love, you need to have a plan of transitioning, right? And I hear this many times, should I just quit my job? What should I do? And I made once the mistake that when I wanted to become a photographer, before I found art, actually, I thought exactly like, let's quit my job, let's take a risk and let's try this. But I didn't have any savings, first of all. So that's it. I quit my job with a huge, I actually didn't feel that much pressure. That's why I did it. But it was not intelligent to quit my job without having any savings. And at the same time, I didn't have enough business knowledge. So I tried I was actually really quit my job, moved to a different place in Switzerland, close to where my brother lives. And it was a disaster. I didn't make any money for like half a year. Maybe it was even longer. I don't fully remember. But I basically couldn't pay my bills. I got into debt. My self-esteem got really low because I was not ready. I basically had no idea about business. I had no savings, so that was stupid, and I learned from it. And then the next time, so that was in 2020, or no, 2019, I said, I have to do it right this time. So I made a plan. I started saving. So I calculated exactly how much I can save from my job. And I actually set a higher goal. So, stretch yourself a little bit. So I put a goal that would be not possible from my job, but I already knew, okay, I want to start selling my art on the side. So having this goal, this financial goal, and also knowing why I wanted this because this would give me more space and more freedom to actually, for example, quit my job, right? But without saving, it's really, you take a bigger risk, and not everybody can do that. Not everybody's the type, and I'm a big risk taker, but even for me, it didn't make sense. So I had this goal and then put it a bit up. And in this year, I started making 15,000 with my art. And that back then, there was already a lot for me, right? It's just on the side of a full-time job. So I had this, I could save basically 10,000 of these 15,000, and the 5,000 I did for some nice rewards or something, to get excited about this whole journey. And after that, in 2020, I had really enough savings. And at the same time, I quit my job when I made already, it was 26,000 in 1.5 months with my art. That's when I decided it's time, I quit my job now. And so I left my job with like, knowing I have a lot of money on the side. A lot of money depends on everyone, right? It depends on your costs, on your lifestyle, or if you have family or not. I had no family, really low cost. So for me, it was a lot of money, and just had just a great month with my art. That was the moment I could transition. So I really would recommend you, if you want to transition, to do your business, your side business, whatever your passion is, do it on the side and really focus on this, and learn as well, get business coaching, watch, how do you say it? Like watch kind of webinars, like what we do now, watch stuff like this and get inspired, get new ideas, and do your thing on the side until you really feel ready. Because you also, as I said, you have to test it. You have to test, do you even like it? How does it feel if you get more busy with this other thing? So yeah, I think that was needed to be clarified. And when you've done that, or let's say while you do that, you want to try all these things on how to get customers now specifically. So what I used and what really worked well for me is Facebook organic marketing. So now we get really into the how, now we get into the specifics. Facebook marketing worked really well for me. And so what I did from the beginning, I decided for one thing. Also here, I tried to do LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, not a good idea. When you focus on one thing that you are good at, for example, I really knew Facebook. I knew Instagram as well, but I didn't I could not understand how to advertise with Instagram exactly. And I actually tried, and it didn't give me so much results. So LinkedIn, I didn't know well how LinkedIn works in generally. So that came out of the question, but I tested it once and then I got distracted. So I always learned again and again, focus on one thing. And if you're really, really good at that, you can start adding something up eventually, right? So, but I focus on Facebook marketing, organic marketing, that means no ads. And I also recommend that to all of you, basically, when you start, to not invest a lot of money into your business, I mean, I invested a lot into my art, but I bought the equipment because I wanted to paint. But for example, I would not put anything into Facebook ads before, you know, you did a lot of testing and you did a lot of organic marketing, because that's then how you learn what really works and what doesn't work. So let's say we do a bit of Facebook organic marketing. What you basically do, yeah, that's where the niche comes into place. So that's where, let's say you decided for what you want, right? You decide, okay, I'm going to be a coach, or I'm going to be a creative, I'm going to do art, or whatever it is, right? You decided for what you want to do. And then you need to think about what other people want, right? What's of course you need to again think of like what did, like William said really well, is like, you know, what did you overcome in your life? Even me as an artist, I use art as a tool to tell my stories, the things that I've overcome, right? Because that's what gives also meaning and value to my art, because it's a whole story. I'm not just painting and showing nice pictures around. That would be not very effective. A lot of artists do that and it's not effective, right? You want to basically inspire. As an artist, I would say you mainly inspire people. As a coach, you literally help people, right? You take them on the hand and you help them. It's more specific. But in any case, whatever you do something to make them either feel better, to inspire them, to help them in any way, to, yeah. For example, I would say as an artist, I inspire change, or I inspire transformation. As a coach, you help them to make the change, or you help them to make the transformation. So yeah, so you think about that, and then you're like, okay, that's what I overcame, that's what I struggled with and what I solved. And in consulting, you don't necessarily, like, consulting is an interesting thing, which I went a bit into to understand first. Yeah, as I said, I wanted coaching, consulting. And consulting is more like, you're not really a coach, so you don't necessarily have to overcome what you want to help people with. As a consultant, you basically help them, for example, with information. I mean, I'm not so that I'm rather the person, I like to do something that I overcame, right? Because I'm not going to look for lots of information and then share the information with people. I'm not the type for that. I'm the type that is, I overcame something and then I talk from experience. But basically, even if you didn't do something, you can do research and get to know this specific thing very exact, and then even help with that other people. And then you want to know what's their pain point, what's their problem, right? You want to think about that, because my coach said it always very well. He said, like, people want to have, like William also said that about the pain, people want to have, they have a problem or a pain, and they want to move to the other side where this is gone, where the pain is gone, or where they found a solution to this pain or problem, right? And so let's say cancer, for example. Cancer is a big thing. So that's a big desire for people to solve, right? So you also want to have something that people have a high desire for solving, because then you will get more customers immediately, except you have tons of competition, but even then. So let's say cancer. And then you want to find a way to solve this problem the fastest way. So let's say if somebody has cancer, but then the cure is like very expensive and takes years and years and is not even promised, that already exists, right? But this is a bit to take this offer is like, yeah, what people rather want is basically have a pill that cures cancer. Let's say if this would be possible, that would be the ideal thing. People have a pain and they want to have a pill to cure this thing. So people they want to solve their problem or cure their pain as fast as possible. So if you can find something that you help people with, they can kind of fulfill that in a fast way, that's really powerful. Then you will get lots of people that want what you have. But again, that's now a bit more specific towards when you're a coach or consultant. That's what you do. You basically want to help them to get from here to here. As an artist, it's a bit different, right? As an artist, it's more about your story. And as a creative in general, I would say it's more about who are you, what's your story, what's your why, the story that like if you check my Facebook, you see lots of examples on how I tell my stories, and people love it. They resonate with that. They feel inspired by that. And that in the end leads to sales, right? So I'm not really, as I said, I'm not helping them to get from here to here, but I eventually, hopefully, through my story and what I'm doing, inspire them to change or to feel better or to, realize their dreams or whatever it is. That's with the niche. I can almost not dive deeper because it's so individual and it depends so much on the, what business you choose to get into. But that's basically what you want to do. William, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I can just say, I mean, I would say in any business or wherever you work, there's always some kind of a need, and you need to find a way to fill that need, whether it's a pain point, they want to take it from pain to pleasure, whatever it is, you want to look at how you can fill that need, how you can work on that need and market it and communicate to them that this is something that will help them solve that need, fulfill that need. If you can step out there, find the right people that had the problem that you had, that you solved, now you can tell them the story of how you did that, and they will see, oh, wow, this person already figured it out. There's certainly something that I can learn from this. If you can do that, it will definitely help you. That's a lot that there is to it, especially the sales and marketing part of it. Do you want to share your book list, Oliver? I can just say, because you could say, I mean, Oliver, I want to hear your opinion on this. So you started selling some paintings, not very expensive in the beginning, and then something happened where you went from a place where, let's say you sold a painting for $1,000, and then a bit later you sold one for $20,000. Now, would you say that, I would guess that your skill, like, let's say like out of, let's say 100 would be the perfect skill level. Now you're maxed out. I wouldn't guess that your skill level went from, let's say, 70 to 90 in that time, but rather that it was more about the mindset. What would you say as a response to that?
Totally. My confidence went up. So that's another thing, right? If you want to do something, you're not sure how much to charge, you feel a bit shy about it. In the beginning, I charged as much as I as I was confident with. With art, it's sometimes more complicated because there are prices from literally $20 to 20 million. So it's really confusing, right? In coaching, there is a bit more, a bit more of a structure, but still there are also people that are charging 120,000 and so on. So this is a different kind of niche or a different market, let's say. But yeah, definitely I started with what I was comfortable with, got some successes, because again, success builds success. So when you get some successes, people buy what you have, you get some experience, you get usually more confident, right? You're like, wow, this is amazing. Somebody bought what I have to offer. You get more excited. And then I started raising my prices quite fast. I don't recommend everyone to raise them so fast, but I was just, my confidence went over the roof, and now I kept my prices since 2020. But yeah, 2020 was really when it went from 1,000 to up to 22,000 Swiss francs. So, and now I'm holding the prices, which are different ranges. So it's not all are 22,000. And that's also what I would recommend everyone in every business, maybe have some different packages, some different offers. So you can have a high-end offer, but at the same time, you can have something that's maybe a bit more affordable for people, right? But I wouldn't get too complicated again. I would keep business very simple. So even if you start out, that's what I did. I started with actually one price, and I kept this price for 2 minutes. No, just kidding. I kept the price for like 2 weeks, and then already decided to go higher. But I focused first on one price. So I sold basically one painting, which is like one package in your coaching. Yeah, and I got some successes, and that builds confidence. And then you will sell more, and you can sell for higher prices even if you want, or you just sell more people. That's also possible. Yeah.
I get to think about what Alex said about the whole thing about manifesting what you want, that you just skip all the manifesting and just go straight to the action. That would be a bit like when we've done some hypnosis meetings, it's crazy. So this meeting, like some people, they go into a completely different character. Like let's say when Oliver, when he was starting off, if you could make him like act as if he's Picasso, or just make that confidence go up there and then go out there and do it. You can kind of trick yourself in a way, but definitely you should practice in safe conditions with people you feel comfortable with. Get that feedback, and then you can see like where you need to improve, and it will build your confidence. So that's really good. Did you want to share that book list, or should we just hop on to some questions?
Maybe in the end, yeah. I need to search for it quickly.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, by the way, about the now I forgot it. So let's get some questions.
Yeah, let's jump into the questions. Petra wrote, how do you deal with pricing when 1, the friends want to buy your art, or 2, if you compare it to other artists? So first you could say dealing with price when the friends want to buy your art.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a difficult thing, because of course you want to give it, to you. I mean, I to be honest, I gave away art for free to my friends and family. But I stopped it very soon, because it kind of, you basically, you need to get out of your family and friend circle. I mean, friends, it depends how much, it's a difficult one. Everybody needs to know for themselves in the end. But I would definitely recommend you, maybe I wouldn't really charge for my family, but my family, for what I do, they're also not really my ideal customers, let's say, right? So I would just go out as soon as possible and get some real experience, because if you give away things for free, it kind of makes you frustrated in the end. Like I did, for example, lots of coaching for free with my family, but they don't even take it, because what William said in the beginning, what people pay for, they value more, right? They don't pay attention to what they don't pay for. So I heard that very early on, and I'm like, yeah, that's very true. And it's even true to me. If I'm paying, like, I bought a painting in Valencia, and no, in Florence. And I paid, I think, $100 or $80 or 50 even, something very, very low. And like me as an artist charging way higher prices, I was super excited in the beginning, but in the end, I put it away, because it's like, I mean, I don't value it so much, not because it's not beautiful, it's just kind of how we work, right? So that's also why, like, very wealthy people like to buy things that are, priced in this luxury bracket in a way, because that's where they see themselves. They don't want to purchase anything in a broken house. I don't know how you say in English, but where you get these used things and so on. They don't see themselves in that. So yeah, so I would, with family and friends, you need to know what you want to do, but I would go out of this circle as soon as possible. And I mean, with friends, it's a little bit different, because I mean, my friends bought my art, and just because they are your friends doesn't mean you are not going to charge them, right? Families, I personally think family is different. I would put family into one, friends is something different. I maybe made them in the beginning a very good offer, or gave them a bonus, something, I added something in, or I came to them and really took time to consult them on what paintings would fit or whatever, right? I over delivered. I always over deliver. So that's kind of what you want to do with your friends. You want to over deliver, but still charge what you're worth. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
They could, in a sense, be more like let's say if you give a painting to your father, then he can put it on the wall of his office, and every person who comes into his office can see the painting, and he can tell him how proud he is about his son, and maybe someone will want to buy a painting from Oliver from that. So it could have a different function, but not like they're not going to be like your customers for forever and make you make it in the sense of making money. Yeah, did you cover if you compare it to other artists? Is there anything more you would like to say there, or should we move on?
Yeah, we can cover this quickly. I mean, I did that too. I compared myself with other artists that I like and that I thought, they're doing a similar style than I do. And yeah, and it's good to see the prices, but in the end, I also realized the prices are so different. And in the end, you need to know what you feel confident with, right? Because I once looked at an artist that I found really cool and had similar style to me. but his Instagram following was like almost, I think, 500,000 or something. And he does that for like 10 years. And I'm like, compare myself to him and put my prices up super, super high. And then at the same time, you know, deep down, I felt like I'm not worth that much. And then this is blocking you. Then you sabotage yourself in a way. So you need to be always honest to yourself. Start with where you're at, with what you have, with what you believe in. And when you take action, you know, you sell a painting for 200 or whatever it is, or you're coaching, then you get more and more confident. So you have to, you know, start where you're at, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. Next one from Michelle. I'm in the music industry, but not sure how to reach out to the people who really inspire me because I don't have the agent / manager / leverage to contact them. Maybe there's a way through social media. You already touched on organic marketing, organic Facebook marketing. Anything you'd like
Maybe
to
we
say to
should
that?
talk about this a bit. Yeah. Organic Facebook marketing is basically you do it alone, because I mean artists always believe they need to have galleries in order to be successful and sell their art. And now through social media, you can basically create your own community, and that's what you want to do. You want to create a community and fans, right? Even as again, as a coach, that's why I'm switching between art and coaching. But even as a coach, when you build a community, for example, like Joe Dispenza did, or Lifebook, it's a big community, or Mind Valley, a huge community, right? They have tons of fans, a huge community. And the same is what I did, but you need to start somewhere, right? So how can you start? How can you build a community? How can you build fans? They want to listen to your songs, they want to look at your art, they want to have your services, they want to help from you, or whatever it is. You start by, there are two things you can do. Basically, you can just post great stuff. That's the first thing, right? You post great stuff on social media, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want, wherever you choose. And then, but that's not the only thing. That's where most people start and then also stop. So they keep posting on their profile. But you need to also get new people on your profile. On Instagram, it's a lot about getting viral, which I tried. It's not so my thing, but you can do it on the side. You can post reels. Reels are very in now and can give you a lot of new people. But Facebook is different. Facebook is, it is very cool. I love that about Facebook, which is the Facebook groups. So when you know your niche, what you're doing, like let's say you're doing business coaching, then you search for entrepreneurs. You see all kind of keywords around entrepreneur, around business owner, everything that has to do with your ideal client, your avatar, your niche. You put these keywords into Facebook, in the Facebook search bar, and then click groups, and then you see all of the groups, and they have tons of groups. And the same you do if you do any kind of like healing, meditation, spiritual enlightenment, whatever it is, like in art, if it's more abstract, it could, like in art, for example, it could be pet portraits. So you make pet lovers, maybe you're a surfer, maybe you paint surfboards, then you go in surfer groups. Maybe it's like, I am, for example, very much into personal growth, and my niche is actually in the personal growth. So I'm putting all the great mentors that I know, the great authors, maybe even some courses that I joined, you know, because there's where my niche is hanging out. So you basically think of where's my ideal client hanging out on Facebook. You can even do the same live. You can think of like, where is my ideal client hanging out in real life? What clubs is he joining? What meetings is he going to? What does he do in the free, or she is doing in the free time? And the same, so you can basically think about this in real life and then meet this person in real places. But of course, we want to do it on social media. It takes way less time. And especially if we have a busy life, a job on the side and so on, we can do the same with Facebook groups. So you want to find communities and groups where your ideal client is hanging out in. And then what you do then, you join these groups and then you engage with the people. You always want to make sure it's a high quality group. So you don't want to be in a group which is really spammy, right? Where lots of people from India or Africa, you know, post advertisements or something. You don't really, you need to look out for when you join groups. But if it's a good group, like a high quality group, then you join this group and engage with these people, and you can even do there are then like different strategies. So we cannot go into everything right now, but engaging with them is a big thing. If they have questions, so if it's a group where they ask questions, you can even respond to their questions and basically build like network. That's what networking is about, right? And you can also post something about you, like your story, for example, in this group. Don't make it salesy, because most groups don't like that, because these are real like communities, right? They want to keep it spam free. So you want to find ways to post about you and your offer in an inspirational way, in a way, right? So I always think of like when I post something, or before I post something, I'm always asking myself, how can I add value? Or when I'm like I'm almost done with posting something, I'm like waiting for a second, I'm like, is this adding value to the people? And so that's a good mind thing that you can keep, always to ask yourself, whatever you post, does this add value? Because that's what it is about in the end with social media marketing. And that's about the Facebook groups. Of course, we can go more in depth, but that's what I've been doing since a while, and it works really, really well, because there are so many groups and you can think really creatively, right? You can come up with suddenly new keywords, new ideas where you could find your ideal customer. So yeah, that's about that. Yeah. And when you have that, you basically need to network. It's almost like in real life, you need to get to know them. Instead of real life, you just chat with them on Messenger, right? You get to know them. And that's, these are all skills you need to learn in a way. But maybe some of them you have already naturally. I was quite good with already building rapport, right? So I was good with chatting with people back and forth. So you build the rapport. But it's really important in any business. People only buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's a big thing, right? So that's what rapport building is about. You want to get to know them. You want them to get to know you. And then when they feel like they know you and they chat with you back and forth and you have great conversations about your thing, right? That's why you want to get in groups where your ideal customer is hanging out in. So you don't want to join a group that's, for example, about, for me, I'm into personal growth. I don't want to go in a group that's about surfing and post my art there, because my art has nothing to do with surfing. My story has nothing to do with surfing. So you know what I mean? So you need to go in the right groups where your ideal customer is, and then build rapport with these people, network, send these people friends requests, and that's how you build a community. I mean, I make it really short, but I hope you understand what I mean. And that's really how I built up my Facebook. And I was focusing on Facebook. Now I have 5,000 friends, and almost every post I make has like hundreds of likes and tons of comments. And it's amazing, because these are people, I mean, I will never be able to chat with all 5,000 people, right? So they are still in my Facebook profile. Without me going into new groups, I have already probably like 10 or 15 or 20 potential buyers. And that will be the same with you. That's the other thing. Then you keep posting on your own profile, and the people you network with and build rapport, even though they don't buy immediately. Some of them do, some of them not. But even if they're not, they are seeing all your posts. That's also how Facebook works. When you chat with people, Facebook will show them your posts because you're chatting. So Facebook is like, okay, these people are friends. So then suddenly they see all your posts. And that's amazing too, right? And that's like, so then you basically keep posting, and your posts are inspiring. It's about what you do. It's about your story. You add value with your posts. And that's how you potentially can get also new customers. And I actually did that I posted in my social media since like 2017, 2018, but that's the next step basically. Also how to make offers, right? Because if you don't make an offer, nobody is going to buy. So I made from 2018 till 2020, I posted all the time. People saw my paintings, but I didn't know how to ask. I was shy. I didn't have the confidence. But when I learned how to ask, everything changed, because actually people told me, hey, I saw your art, it's amazing, I want one, or like I want one sometime. They basically told me that they're interested, but I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to make an offer. But in 2020, when I realized how, I really had tons of people suddenly buying, and I'm like, how does this happen? It happened because I really nurtured them through my constant posting and adding value, because they saw that. Right? They saw that, so I planted a lot of seeds. And when I was ready and knew how to make offers and how to sell, suddenly like I had 5 people buying at the same time. So that was pretty crazy. and I didn't understand why, but then it made sense. So the posting on your profile is kind of something you want to do always, or like always. It depends on you as well. You don't need to make yourself pressured, but like, let's say 3 times a week would be great. Even 5 times a week is still good. 7 is almost too much. That's like that's something I would suggest. And just thinking what else. When you do that, I mean, it's such a big topic, right? I think maybe we need to make part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and part 122.
Never ends.
So no, but the selling is, I mean, like, there are also different ways to sell, but I always would recommend you to actually jump on calls with people. But again, like, selling is this would be a whole call. I could talk about selling a whole like for an hour or 2. So it's really difficult to make that short. But I would say, really, when you do build this trust, this rapport, and they feel like they know, like, and trust you, you don't even need to be a good salesperson, and you can make sales. Lol, a monthly chat. Or maybe this has to be something. Now I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, you should tell them about the group later on, Oliver.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I can put it already in here. I have a group for artists specifically. So I don't know if anyone wants to join if you're not an artist, but I mean, you learn a lot of important business lessons in the group, yet it's specifically for artists. So really, it's an artist group where you learn how to sell your art. But I mean, it also has a lot to do with the mindset. And I'm basically creating a video from Monday till Friday. And in the videos, I answer your questions. So when you're a part of the group, you can post in your group. You can also network with the other artists that are all keen to sell their art. And when I see your question, I make a video on that. And the videos are at least 10 minutes, if not longer. So like, oftentimes it's actually longer, because when I get going, then I get going. So, but yeah, if anyone wants to join that, you're very welcome to join. It's a small fee of 19 francs per month, and you can cancel anytime. So you can actually, come in, check it out. And if you don't like it, you can go out anytime, but I'm pretty sure you will like it, hopefully. That's about that. And what else?
I can say just quick, Marit said something. I think she hopped off. She had to go. But she said that thing about doing a lot of volunteer work and not getting paid for what she does. I would just say to that, that's a pattern, and you need to break out of that. And I would say it's a lot to do with building self-confidence, like we talked about, and also self-esteem. And I mentioned also you need to sell yourself first. So you actually have to start seeing the value in what you have to offer. You need to sit down, write down all the points for what you have is valuable. That's also a big point with the meditation. You get in touch with what gift you have to give to others. And if you can, I use the word position yourself. It's very much just about putting yourself in a place where you know what you have is valuable. You know it solves a problem that someone has. And you need to learn that way of communicating, that you ask the questions like, have you done anything like this before? How did that work for you? On a scale from 1 to 10, how was that? And then if they say a 7 out of 10, then you ask, okay, what would make it a 10 out of 10? And you listen to these answers and you get in touch with what they need to have the perfect product for them. And then if you have the right solution for them, they will be willing to pay. I can go into Laura's question. This one is a little bit longer. I've seen cases of people who love doing certain things because it allows them to play and to have full creative freedom. But the moment they create something for other people, for money, they feel in chains because they have to consider what the public/client wants and needs. Do you have any advice on how to getting financial abundance, doing what you love, and still keep the joy of creation? To find a way to still have creative freedom, to play and explore, when you need to also consider what clients might want.
Yeah. I know this so well. I mean, I think almost every artist has that. There's a balance between doing what you want to do, right? Doing what you love. But to be honest, in every businesses only work. You get paid from people. Businesses only work if you do, or if you sell what other people want. That's just like the nature of business, right? There's no way around it. As an artist, it's a bit different. As an artist, you can develop yourself, develop your skills, get really good at what you're doing. That's actually what I did. I painted everything I painted was just what I wanted to paint. And I would say I feel also pretty lucky from that. But I also understood what I did is I inspired other people. So I think as an artist, this rule applies a little bit different. It's still there because people only buy your art if they want to buy it. So if you do what they want, right? But usually when you do what you love and you're really inspired and people feel that energy, it's like a good example. I once created a series, the Abundance series, which I was super passionate about. And I was so excited about this Abundance series. It was really a special time for me. Funny wise, like I attracted lots of abundance in this time. So no, it was really interesting. I created Abundance series and attracted lots of abundance in my life. That was an amazing experience. And I think people felt how inspired I was. They felt how passionate I was about this series, about this topic. Then 1 year later, I said, like, I want to repeat that. So let's create something similar. So basically created the Rose Gold series, which is also around abundance and love. But if I was really honest, I was not really passionate about it. And I think people felt it as well. So the abundance series went really well. The Rose Gold series didn't go well. Nobody bought. And I'm like, was really frustrated. I'm like, what is this? So what I did, it came more from the mind. It came from what I think I should do, what I think it should fit, what would fit to what I already did, what would fit to my brand. But I was just thinking. I was too much in my mind and I was not passionate about it. So I would say passion really helps as well. So as an artist, if you're really, really passionate about what you do and you share, your view on the world, and you're courageous, then I think people will like it. Maybe also not. So you know what I mean? It's a bit, as an artist, it's a bit different. But if you want to, like what I started doing is, for example, commissions. And in the commissions, I'm doing what people see in a way. But I have very clear boundaries of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. I'm not going to do a different style that I'm not doing usually. I'm not going to paint portraits or nature paintings, whatever. I'm painting my abstract pieces. And I find these people that want that. So, but at the same time, it's this balance between I'm doing something for them, right? I'm creating their vision, but my creative freedom is quite, free still. I'm not taking any jobs where I need to paint portraits or pets or whatever. So it's a balance, I would say. It's a balance, but I wouldn't even worry too much about it. Express yourself, do what you want to do, and see how people respond. Put yourself out there, because I think this question comes also often when people didn't even show themselves, right? It's like you paint for yourself or you do something for yourself, and then you think about these things already, but it's way too early. You have to really, go into what you want to do, go full in, and then share it with the world. And even at first, I got really negative responses, by the way. That's another thing I need to say. I got really, really bad responses to my art. Like people saying, my grandmother can paint better. I have 2 kids, they can paint better than you. Like really tough. But in a way, it made me stronger, because I realized, okay, there are lots of haters. And at the same time, they're not my customers. So then I spent more time on finding my customers, because back then I was posting into expat groups in Switzerland. So people that come from outside of Switzerland and they move to Switzerland. And I posted there to make money, right? I thought it's a good idea. Somebody told me that actually, and it worked to a certain degree, but these people were not my customers. When I switched that and started focusing on the deeper meaning of my art and my story and who really is my customer and would resonate with my story and the art, everything changed. People paid more. I never got a bad response anymore. People see and feel what I'm doing. So yeah, I think, when you're genuine and you do something from your heart, I'm sure there are other people that can relate to that, because we all have a story. And so I think when you're really genuine and you share from your heart your story and who you are and what you're trying to do, there are people that will resonate with that 100%.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. And just I want to just circle back to self-esteem again, because just think about it. When you put it out there, you do open up this whole plethora of emotions of what's going to happen if the wrong person sees it and writes something mean in a comment. You know, people can be really insensitive and mean over internet. So you need to be in a place where your self-esteem is good, that you don't take these things personally. And also, you know, you have a target audience, you have the I should call it a box or whatever, but you have the people who are your ideal clients. And when you put the marketing out there, you are going to hit people who are outside of that too, most likely. And they might criticize it. They might not like it. But like Oliver says, they're not your ideal client. They're not your ideal customer. And you got to be okay with that. So it's very much a self-esteem thing as well. You just have to know the value of what you offer. And even the people who comment to write something mean, they're just making it go bigger. So it's actually just a good thing, you could say even. But yeah, just the pain point you need. I'm reading a book right now. It's called $100 Million Offers. Really good so far. Just I can share something real quick. You want to look at the pain point, like we said. You want to see that they have the purchasing power to buy what you want. You want them to be easy to target so that you can focus in on that group. And then also that it's in a growing market. He gave the example of someone who did all the first three right, but he went into a newspaper business and it's a dying market. So, you know, everything is going online nowadays. So that's something to think about too. I also came to think about the story of Napoleon Hill when he had a seminar where he shared many of the ideas that's in Think and Grow Rich. And then after the seminar, someone comes up to him and speaks to him and says, "Hey, you know what? I'll show you this." Then he pulls out this really old piece of paper and shows it to Napoleon Hill. And he says, "Your ideas are not new. I wrote this 30 years ago. And then Napoleon Hill replies, "Well, you may have written down your ideas, but what did you do with them?" You know, he just kept it as a note in his pocket. So that's the thing. You don't want to just keep what you have to offer as a note in your pocket. You have to actually be willing to put it out there and risk some rejection with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I say quickly to that as well? That's why I'm saying you have to go out and test things, right? Not just have the ideas, because it might sound better in your mind than it really is. Maybe you think people want it, maybe they don't want it. Or maybe you think it's not good and people really want it. So you have to really get used to try things out on social, you know, put it out in a way, put it out on social media, share it with people, test things out. Because otherwise you never know and you stay stuck, right? That's really important. This call is about the action steps, right? The how. So it's really about when you know what you want, when you know your business, the business you want to go into, you have your vision clear, then you have to go out and show yourself and take action.
Fail forward, exactly. That's a book. That's a great book.
Yeah.
Fail forward. Just put it out there with mistakes. It's better to put it out there fast and with mistakes than slow and perfectly.
Yeah, because when you have ideas, when it's fresh, you need to put it out. I mean, of course, work on it, but put it out in a way, you know, because otherwise it can already be the momentum is lost and it's gone. And it happens to so many ideas. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't let your ideas die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last one of the pre-submitted questions. Ramona, she wrote a few in here, so we don't have to go for too long because there's a couple of questions in the chat and then we would have to wrap it up because we're a bit over time already. Ramona wrote, "Describe what it was like when you realized you were in the wrong place and needed to move onwards." That's the first question from her.
Yeah, I try to answer them short. I think when I feel myself going back, I just felt something was, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it's like I actually knew that this is not the right thing for me, but at the same time, I knew I need to be there to learn certain things, right? I knew my purpose, why I'm there. At the same time, also already knew from the very beginning that this is not my end destination. I knew that my end destination is being an entrepreneur. What exactly I didn't know back then. So I knew I'm at the right place at the right time, and I will know when it's the right time to go. But yeah, sometimes it was difficult, right? Sometimes it was really difficult and I wanted to quit and I was thinking about it, I was complaining about it. But every time I did that, I needed to get myself back to a positive mindset. Listening to Kevin Trudeau, your wish is your command, helped me a lot in this time, because it always made me focus again on what I appreciate about that job, what I like about that job, and brought me in a good space. Because I think it's not a good idea to, go from a place with a bad feeling. Or like you, actually, Abraham Hicks said that once, never go away from something, always go towards something, right? Not like, I want to quit my job and that's all you focus on. Because even if you do it, you quit your job with this energy, right? With the same frequency, which will attract more that is, attracted to this frequency. And if you quit because you feel like, wow, this is for me, it's pulling me forward, it's pulling me in this direction, that's a very different energy, right? So yeah, that's what I say. When you feel bad, I would listen to Your Wish is Your Command from Kevin Trudeau.
Yeah, what energy you have is so important. I mean, you will bring that into whatever you do. So
Yeah.
your focus, that was perfect what you said right there. She also asked, what inner strength did you muster up to give you the hope to continue searching for where you belong?
That kind of, it came naturally. And it's just like, I think that happens naturally, because I also believe life is good and the universe provides for us. So when we are going in a direction that's not meant for us, the universe is talking to us. The universe is like, we feel not so good, something is a bit off. Maybe we don't understand it at first with our mind, so we cannot grasp it, but we feel that there is something off, right? So, and I've always felt, when I felt that, I was just, doing what I'm always doing. I'm just, go to seminars, reading books. Kevin Trudeau really helped me so much with knowing what I really want. Life book was a big part, right? Life book clarified what I really, really want. And I think it's a natural thing. And I would think about what we want. So if you didn't watch the first part, I would do that, because we really went deep in there. And at the same time, I also would just take, step by step, and being happy now, right? Being grateful and go into these habits, because we can, for example, go into spaces where we feel really bad. And then it's like, is it us or is it the job? Or you know what I mean? So it's really important that you're actually in a good space, because then you see things more clearly. And then you see if this was really a problem out there, or if it was only you that saw it as a problem. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope that answers the question, but I would say it happened naturally. It just happens naturally, that you follow where you belong. That's where life wants you to get to your mission, or where you belong.
I found the Ikigai questions to be really helpful. So you could do that, Ikigai. She writes further, how do you get in the right state of mind to create one of your works of art? Well, this is when you said you think about nothing, right? Yeah, what are you thinking about when you are creating? What principles are you applying to be in the flow while creating? That's what she writes further.
So how I get in the right space, that's a funny thing, but that's why I chose art, because when I do art, I get into the right space. It brings me into the right space. So, I can be in the right space and I'm really inspired, and then I paint something, but I can also be not in such a good space and paint and get in the right space. And I think actually that's with everything in life like that. No matter what you want to do, if you don't feel like doing it, do it anyways. Or sometimes maybe you have to do something else and maybe go for a walk or something, but then do it, then still, do it. And I think people feel similar to whatever passion they have, right? Because that's why it's their passion, because when they do it, they feel good. And that's also what Kevin Trudeau says, right? When you don't feel good, do something you're passionate about. Do painting, cook, walk, pet something or swim or whatever you want to do, right? Do something, and it brings you in the state. So I think oftentimes when we do something, like for me, painting, that brings us actually in the right space. And then the second was what I think about when I paint, right?
Yeah.
There was Nothing.
Yeah, I
Nothing.
thought that was funny.
Nothing. Yeah, I usually I really don't think anything actively, but my thoughts are, of course, it's almost like my thoughts are processing, and like all these thoughts that were in my mind and stuff comes up, but I'm not kind of not involved in that. So it's a really that's why I started painting, because it really helped me to heal, because my mind was so loud and so hard on myself, really tough on myself. Was so like I was beating myself up constantly, and painting did exactly that. It brought I from being involved in this thing, in this mind stuff, in these negative thoughts, I was suddenly like the observer, and at the same time painting, and I could kind of see my thoughts from outside. So very special. So that's also something that actually brought me to painting.
If it's healthy for you, for your physical health and mental health, that's, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
now you really found something. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the last parts, does the title for your art come before you begin to paint or after the work is completed? Do you want to tackle that one real quick?
That's very different. It depends. Sometimes I know it before, sometimes after. That's very different. Yeah.
What about this last one? Can you give us an example by showing us one of your pieces and how you decided to create that finished piece of art? Do you want to do that, or do you want to skip that?
Maybe quickly.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't take time with that. So here, this, for example,
Oh, wow, that's cool.
it's one of my favorites. I mean, I say that almost with every painting, but that's actually from my manifestation series. And this, here I had the idea only with the background. Actually, this is a very special blue. It's a Yves Klein blue. That's the only thing I knew. I want to have this Yves Klein black background. And then I knew the technique as well. I knew the technique I'm using, but what colors I let my, I knew certain things often. This gives me a bit of a frame, but at the same time, I leave a lot in, how do you say, I leave it free so I can see what develops. And so this was actually really cool because I put the colors together, and then I did two others. I don't want to show them right now, but I did like three at the same time, and this was one of them. So I did the first one, bam, splashes, and it looked amazing. And then I did this one, and this was literally one splash. But look at this. And then it's like, how can you plan that? It's impossible. And that's what excites me so much about art, or the kind of art that I'm doing, right? So yeah, it's always very different, but that's an example. And when I looked at it, this was also, I didn't know the name before. Even when I think about it, I mostly don't know the name before, except I'm really working on like a concept. For example, this screen painting, this was a concept. This I knew before, but like most of my paintings, I don't know it before. But when I looked at it, because it was one splash and it came so perfectly, just this one splash, I called it miracle. So, sometimes I get inspired by what I did, and then suddenly the name pops into my mind. So yeah, that's an example.
There you have your answer.
Yeah.
Godson actually had did you write another question? My son has strong passion for artwork, painting, and drawing, and does it at his spare time, but he's studying economics, business administration in the higher institution. Yeah, maybe I should do it on the side. But he wrote a question earlier. This is going to be the last question, unless someone has anything more. Just write it in the chat right now. Like, this is your last chance, unless we do like part 3 and 4 and 5. But Gazan wrote, how do we differentiate between passion from career fulfillment? Did you understand that? Or maybe Gazan, do you want to come on and clarify? Oliver, you can tell me if you want to.
Passion, career fulfillment. Not 100% sure about that.
So Godson, do you want to come on or clarify that? Because I'm also not. Yeah.
Thank you, William and Olivia. That was very inspiring and, of course, motivating. You could have a career on. I want to differentiate between career and passion. Okay. I want to be careful to say career is passion and passion is career. Maybe passion could drive your career. I don't know, but I want to find the thin line between the two, between the career and passion. Or are we saying they are the same?
So what is the
Career, yeah.
question? Do you want to combine them, or do you want to like have one part which is career and then one part which is passion on the side or as a hobby? What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that you could have a passion which could be hobby, but it may not be the same thing as a career. It was quite interesting. I listened to John, one of the podcasts by John, interview by John. In fact, I listened to it about 2 hours ago, and it was kind of interesting to find it. We have to be careful in terms of taking hobby as a career. Sometimes it could be misleading. So I just wanted from Oliver's experience, how do you differentiate between the passion, maybe hobby, and a career, something like that, so that you can, how that's influenced your direction? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. So what I understood, or like from my experience, what I can see is that, for example, art would be my passion, like painting, right? But when I create a business, I'm like not painting much actually. It's like 20%, if not less, is painting. Painting is my passion, right? The other thing is the business side, which is not necessarily my passion, but has to be done in order for me to make a living. And that's probably, I heard this many times and it makes sense. You always need to be you need to look at, and that's why I'm saying, if you think you want to become a coach, or if you think you want to become an artist, test it out. Like, get a customer, get a client, put it out and try it out, how it feels if this passion you have becomes a business, because this will change a lot. But for me personally, I think it's more than a passion. And I also realized I am passionate. I think we are passionate. Yeah, passionate, or we have skills or a vision that might be bigger than just the passion, because the passion would be only painting, right? I would be pretty happy if I'm painting all the time, but at the same time, this would be very boring, and I would not see myself, living and dying as like a regular painter. So for me, it's just my vision drives me that I want to become a really, really, a big artist, and also become very wealthy as an artist, because I believe it's possible. And so it's more than also inspiring others. I want to really inspire people on what's possible, and I want to be an example of for people to show them, you can live your dreams, and not just art. I mean, living your dreams in all areas. So that's also something that drives me a lot, and that drives me also to do art, which is actually not an easy business, to be honest. It's not a business you jump into because you want to make money. It's really a passion business in a way. But I have this bigger vision that drives me. So if it only would be a passion, I think it would not be enough. And then very fast it would, I would realize, hey, now I'm doing business all the time. And now I cannot even paint. So my passion is gone in a way. And I see that a lot, because there's also, you kind of have to paint for others, for example. That could be something. And it's like, I don't want to paint for others. I want to paint for myself. That's my passion. But to be honest, I like it. I like the whole business thing. So it might be also something, that's what one of my mentors always said, is like, are you an entrepreneur, or are you more like an employee, right? Are you more somebody that's in a job? And I knew I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a creator. That's even in business. In everything I do, I create. So it's not just the art. I hope that makes sense, but I get the point. You have to be careful, and you have to really ask yourself, do you really want to make your passion to your career or business? Because it will really change, right? Your passion will change through that. And my father was a very successful business owner, and he always warned me, think about it. Do you really want to do this full time? But I just knew who I am. And also, so it's important knowing yourself, right? So I knew who I am. I knew I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to build something bigger. So it's for more than just passion, in a way, So it goes beyond passion. I hope that helps or answers your question.
Yeah, I wrote in the chat now. Thanks, Oliver. Clear and consistent. Yeah, awesome. There's one last. I was actually gonna take that one before Godson's one. Yeah, Cliff. The question was: would you recommend specific length of videos, like Facebook Live, picture posts, or mingle them? Frequency of posting. You did frequency of posting. You said like 3 times is really good. Up to 5 is also okay.
Yeah, I can clarify that. I mean, the stories, you can post them as much as you want. Maybe not like 20, 30, but probably not many are doing that. But stories, you can post a lot, and that's about, your life, what you're doing right now. People love seeing that, because then they see a person behind behind the coach or behind the artist or whatever you want to do. And then like 3 times, 5 times, I would say is good. Like a post, but a really good post. And that can be a video. It can be a Facebook Live. It can be a picture. It can mingle. Yeah, you can mingle them actually. I mean, I know Facebook Live is said to be really, really good, especially if you do them consistently. But I personally, I couldn't commit to it. You know, it's not so easy to do a live video. I could, but actually, it's a good idea. I should do that more. But I think Facebook Live, Facebook rewards people that do Facebook Live videos. So it's actually a good idea. And people get noticed when you do another Facebook Live. So it's a good thing. But you need to be the type for it. You also need to know, like, are you more the video type? Are you more the, you know, do you like to write? Because when I did this whole business, I also started to realize I do like both. But in the beginning, I was not so good in video, but I loved writing. So suddenly I sat down with my coffee and I, you know, started writing. It's basically copywriting in a way, but very inspirational and always with the thought of adding value, right? So I was super inspired writing these posts. So in the beginning, I wrote a lot of posts, so picture with writing with almost no videos. And then at one point I started switching this up a bit. So the thing is, the fact, like, to wrap it up, it doesn't really matter so much. Of course, the how much you post is quite important, because the more the better, but more than 5 times I would say is not needed on Facebook. Yeah, and 3 times I would say is already enough. And I would just make sure I was on Facebook more the person that really made a good post. Sometimes, very rarely, I made like just a small post. But again, it depends on what person you are, what you like to do, what you're good at. Are you better at videos? Are you better at you know, writing? I mean, as an artist, I must say pictures work really good, because I am an artist. I have something very visual. So me next to the art is a great visual. As a coach, you maybe don't have so many pictures. So you maybe need to do more videos, right? Because you're teaching, you're coaching. So maybe you want to make them more videos, helping them with something they have going on. So yeah, I hope that helps. But I would say always to remember, doing something, what's the word, like doing something imperfect is better than doing it not at all, right? It's important not to procrastinate, just, you know, do things, try things, go out there. And I hope this video, this call today helps you to maybe also get some clarity around what you want to do, because it's really important. When you don't know exactly what you want to do, it's really difficult to make a post. You know, it's like, what do you want to write about? What do you want to talk about? So it's important to narrow it down, especially when you go into business. So you know, what do you help people with? What do you talk about? What videos do you share? And so it also gives some clarity for you. And then people know, oh, wow, this person talks about that. This person helps with that. It's also like, where, for example, when you would introduce yourself to someone and you say what you're doing, you can actually make this test with someone from this call maybe, and ask them like what they think, if it's clear or not, if they know what you do. But I had in the past lots of people that told me what they're doing, had no idea what they're doing. You know, and that's what people do often when they're not clear. And then it's really hard to get a customer, because if I'm not knowing what they're doing, how can I become a customer or refer someone to them? But if you have super clear, basically way to introduce yourself, what you're doing, then people is like, bam, that's me, or not me. Or wow, I know a friend. So actually, that's also something I wanted to share. Yeah, just quickly, like I have something really cool with the, if you're a coach, like what I'm doing, I say as an artist, my mission is to inspire people to believe in themselves and their dreams. As a coach, you say something with, I help people, not people, that's where you want to put your niche. I help to, that's the thing. I have to, let me think of an example quickly. So, to make it more specific, but let's say as a coach, yeah, I also help some artists with my group, right? So how I would do this with my art group to help other artists is I help artists, visual artists, to make money from their art and quit their jobs. Bam. It's like, whoa, when an artist hears that, he's like, whoa, this is me. I want that. That's exactly what I want. Or you could rephrase it a bit different. I have visual artists to make money from art they absolutely love. Or I help artists make money from their art only with social media. or I help artists to make art, to make money from their art without any gallery connections. You know, like just giving some examples, but it's basically, you know what I mean? It could be the same thing. I help people to get free of stop smoking without any, you know, any, what happens when you're addicted to something? You have, when you stop, you have like these.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know,
Oh, I forgot the name as well.
but yeah, it would be a good example because that might be something, side effects. Yeah, for example, like saying I help people to stop smoking without any side effects, or I help people stop withdrawal. Yeah, I help people to stop smoking without any withdrawal effects, or whatever it is, right? So something that is like, whoa, that's exactly what I want. So in the beginning, you say who you help, what you help with, and then you can say like something that you do special, for example, or what you help them, what they don't need, for example, or what they don't. Now it gets a bit specific, but yeah, this example is with withdrawal, right? That's something that makes it special. You don't only help people stop smoking, because I think lots of people do that, but you help them without withdrawal effects. And it goes for, so it's like a bit of we would need to get a bit more into that. So if you maybe have questions in the end after you are at this step, maybe you can reach out to me too, and we can tweak your sentence. But yeah, you can also then put this on your Facebook, and so yeah.
Beautiful. I did there were 2 seminars when I was at Mindvalley U this summer. One of them was about like making a video go viral, making something go viral, and the other one was about making an online course. They both had some really good information on this, but I can just sum it up. Actually, I told Oliver before, and I was also speaking to I have a friend who's a gym owner, and I was meeting him and a few others just a few days ago, and we were talking about like marketing on Facebook and that kind of a thing. And I told him just something funny. I have this video that I posted just it's probably like there's some months ago, and it got reposted like a few weeks ago by a page with a lot of followers, and it blew up. I mean, last time I checked, it had over 250,000 views. I was like, what is going on, right? And what happens is that it's this algorithm, and if it hits the algorithm in the right way, it can blow up. So the algorithm favors content that makes people click into it and also stay in there as long as possible. So this video definitely had it all. Like it was me standing in a couloir with 2 people, and there's this avalanche coming from on top of us, and it's a crazy video, right? And the people in the comments are like, "Ah, crazy!" And then one of the guys I was speaking with, he was like, "Yeah, you should have thrown like a link into a web page in there, and then people could click it." so I was kind of on the other side of that, where I got a lot of views, but I didn't really communicate a product or anything. It's just my personal Instagram. But just throwing it out there that you can think about that, like what can you do to make more people click into it and stay in there as long as possible. So the first few seconds are very, very important. Yeah, is there anything else? We've been going quite over time. I mean, we've been under promising, over delivering.
Yeah, I had some things, so it takes me around 1.5 hours to finish up today. No, just kidding. No, but there would be so much. I mean, it can get really specific with business, right? So, but I think maybe we could do one with people who are interested. We could make money doing what you love Q&A specifically, so where people only ask questions, right? Because this was kind of an overview, but I hope it was of value and you understood what I meant, because yeah, you could really go into each person specifically. For this person, I would do this, and for this person, I would do that. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, what more is there to say? Actually, I thought this was really inspiring. I really love this. So many good questions from you. And to those of you who had to hop off, I hope you got to see the recording. You had that big heart with there. Boom.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
It's worth the time. Yeah. Thank you for your comments here. Thank you so much for your inspirational and motivational value today, Oliver and William. Loved it. Cliff, we're going to be in an accountability group for the Life Book leaders. Looking forward to that. Kathy wrote yes on the Q&A. Thank you so much. We're the part 3, part 4, part 5. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We love this so much. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being on. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, have a great rest of the day and evening or wherever you are. Thank you so much for being on, and go out there, make money doing what you love. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.